What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another brand new movie review. I said we were going to do a review for Beetlejuice. I tried to get 2 trailer reactions out throughout the course of the last couple of months, and Warner Brothers just were not having it. They just wanted no publicity at all, apparently. They've recently done the same with my Minecraft trailer reactions, so they just don't like people watching their stuff, it looks like. They must hate it when they make money. I've got a few things written down. I seen it yesterday in the cinema, so it's pretty fresh in my memory. I won't say about what I thought of the movie. I'll just go over some points I agreed and disagreed with, and then I'll say at the end about overall, did it live up to expectations. Well, for a start, see, for a movie that was that's a sequel to a film, a cult classic that was brought out 35-40 years ago, this film did well to a certain point. It really did. I thought it was good. Do I think it was as good as the original? No. You need to remember that people have raised their kids on the original, so we're not going to think that much of it compared to that. There's a few points that I did not agree with. I'll try to do the negatives first, then the positives. What I think it did not do well, I didn't like the explanation for the Maitlands being on it. Obviously, we know like the real life stuff with Alec Baldwin and all. He was never going to be in the movie, and if he's not going to be in it, you can't have Barbara in the movie. And also, obviously, humans age and ghosts don't, so you couldn't really have them in without like the most sophisticated anti-aging stuff on the planet. So that was probably another reason. That was pretty much a get out of jail free card, no pun intended, for Alec Baldwin. But I'll get on into the reason for them being so missed in a second, but like it sort of took away from the overall story of the second movie. The thing is, like, first off, to get to that point, I gotta do this point. Beetlejuice himself, Michael Keaton, only has 18 or 19 minutes of screen time in this movie. People have been complaining about that like crazy since this movie came out, and I understand that, but they also don't realise when they say that Michael Keaton only had 18 or 19 minutes of screen time in the first movie. It's felt so much more here because the first movie was all about ghosts. The Maitlands weren't ghosts. They were transitioning and like coping with being dead, essentially, and it was more like the likes of Lydia and all. Like, they weren't side characters, but like they were like the glue that held the living and the dead side of the worlds together. This movie's just all about Jenna Ortega, essentially. It just essentially turned into Wednesday season 1.5 at one point, and it was just like, why is there so much time being given to her? Even Lydia would have understood more screen time, but like it was just the Jenna Ortega. So do not get me wrong, she is a fantastic actress. She's in everything good at the minute, including this. This is a good movie, but it should have been more about the dead. And the funny thing is, there's more scenes like in the afterlife, way more scenes in this movie than the first one, like 10 times more. But it just felt like a secondary story. Like, if you know what I mean, it just felt like we're going to spend the whole movie going over how Jenna Ortega's character, what's her name? Astrid. Yeah, Astrid. We're going to just go over how Astrid is coping with her abandonment issues from her own mother, how her mother works too much, how she wishes her father was back. And it's just concentrating on that until eventually she ends up hooking up with a passed away guy. And then that leads into the main story. But that's where this movie is definitely different to the first one. You miss Beetlejuice more because you don't have any, what do you call them? You don't have any Adam or Barbaras, like, as ghosts. You're just concentrating on the human side. So you do miss Michael Keaton's character a bit more. Plus, people are clamouring for the original characters. Like, obviously, you had Lydia and Catherine O'Hara's character. And then you obviously had Beetlejuice. You don't have Adam, you don't have Barbara, so people are clamouring for the originals, and you really only got Lydia and Catherine O'Hara's character. I keep forgetting her name. I do have it written it down. 1 second. Delia. Yeah, Delia was fantastic. That is the one thing. In the first movie, obviously Delia played the bitchy stepmom very well. She played incredibly well, but it did make you hate her character. It made you like the father more and the mother less. How the tables have turned in terms of real life, that's for sure. Catherine O'Hara's character in this was brilliant, like absolutely fantastic. I thought she was so funny. How against she was of Lydia's relationship with, I'm just going to call him Toolbag because that's what he was and that's what he is. How against she was of that relationship was so funny. Like all the jokes she made, everything about it was brilliant. Killing off her character was a bit shocking, to be honest, especially in the vein they did it. I was quite surprised, I'm not going to lie, but it was funny. One thing in terms of that I disagreed with. Number one, I definitely agree you had to kill off the dad, 100%. I said that in my trailer reaction at the funeral scene. It was him, and it was definitely him. He had to be killed off. The actor that played him, I'm not even going to say his name. I do know this one, but I'm not going to say it on this channel because YouTube are just looking for a reason to punish me every time. I would say that you definitely had to kill his character off, and doing it in the clay motion animation was fantastic. It's obviously a throwback to the original movie. And it did look like his character. You did not and should not have had his character missing his head, essentially running around the afterlife and then getting a happy ending. I know the character we all like, but like nobody was really that annoyed when they heard, oh, he died in a plane crash and then was eaten by a shark. Nobody was that annoyed, especially in the cinema I was at. No one really cared. So you did not need to go out of your way to give him a happy ending, to have someone do an impression of his voice, a terrible impression, by the way. And for a start, what are they even talking out of? He's been bitten all the way down here. He's no voice box left. He shouldn't even he should only have like half of each lung to like give the air up to talk. So how is he seeing? How is he breathing? It makes no sense. He shouldn't have been able to talk. He should not have been able to talk. But you just didn't need him. You should have just killed his character off. He's buried, and then just save. And in the afterlife, oh, he's already moved on. Simple as that. His character seemed like a nice enough guy. Should have been able to move on straight away. But I digress. I did not like that bit. So right, I've got that. I've actually got through the first 5 things on my list. Yeah, William Dafoe's character. Yeah, pointless. I'm sorry. I did not laugh at one thing with his character at all. I didn't think he was funny. I think someone pointed out brilliantly online that if you took his character out of the movie, it's the same movie. Apart from like them showing up to be frozen at the end, because they didn't do anything against like Monica Bellucci's character. Forget her name as well. It doesn't say much. I'm forgetting people's names already, but yeah, like the whole storyline of she's a soul sucker. The origin story between her and Beetlejuice was good. I actually enjoyed that. She's obviously the one that poisoned him. He obviously killed her. I did like the Danny DeVito cameo, which was quite funny. He was killed off far too quick, but obviously I'm assuming trying to keep the budget down by having people like Danny DeVito play big roles ain't an option. But I thought her character was so aimless. She would pop up every 20 minutes, suck the soul of a random person, like not even someone like properly like in the story. Like the guy who was like running the dry cleaners, the what do you call it? Danny DeVito's character, who's just cleaning the floor. It's like dead, 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 and then it's like, oh, she's at the church looking for Beetlejuice, and it's just like, I feel like there's more to this story. You sort of like you've spent so much time not concentrating on the dead that you've let this character just be shown walking around the afterlife, and like the afterlife police department can't find this lady. She's just roaming around the halls, like near William Dafoe's office. Not easy to find, no. Also, another big thing, justice for Bob. The fact that they killed off Bob and he was one of them victims. I keep forgetting her name. Beetlejuice's ex-wife is definitely one of the biggest villains in TV history, because justice for Bob. He did not deserve that. He's probably the best character in the whole movie, and he did do his job well. He was technically meant to take that bullet for Beetlejuice, but that was only if his ex-wife confused him for Beetlejuice, which she didn't. She clearly knew it wasn't Beetlejuice, and she still killed him. What could she have gotten from sucking the soul of a little shrunken head weird guy? Justice for Bob. And if there is a third film, and I'm assuming there will be, then justice for Bob. Also, the ending. The musical number in that church. They're obviously trying to capture with the lip syncing and all what they did in, in the first movie. Obviously, daylight comes and we want to go home. They're trying to capture that. They're trying to make it a moment in the movie. I hated it. The fact they did the whole song, like a 4-minute musical number of people lip syncing, and Beetlejuice showing powers that he's shown before in this movie and the previous, not needed at all. The best thing Beetlejuice done was when the serial killer kid who's trying to take Astrid's soul, when he's at the passport office, and Beetlejuice says, "You're all out of luck." Insert swear word, because YouTube don't want me swearing no more. You can do the rest yourselves, guys. But that was the best moment in the whole movie for me. That's the only bit I actually laughed at, to be honest. To be honest, for a movie I said it was good, I seem to have a lot of negative stuff to say about it. I might have to rethink the ranking I had written down here. I don't think it was never going to live up. Let's be realistically, it was never. Anyone who's seen the original, or like, I was born in 1990. I had seen Beetlejuice by the time I was 4 years old. I had watched it 100 times by the time I was a teenager. I grew up with Beetlejuice, and Michael Keaton was born to play Beetlejuice. He's fantastic. Do I think there will be a third film? 100%. You don't call a movie like this Beetlejuice without planning on calling the next one Beetlejuice. That's obviously going to happen, and obviously it's hinted at in the dream sequence at the end that Beetlejuice is obviously in Lydia's nightmares. He's probably like just appearing there like last time. The thing about baby Beetlejuice being born. That's horrifying, but it obviously hinted as well that her daughter Astrid was happy about that, so maybe something's going to be at play there. There will definitely be a third movie, 100%. This movie as well is making so much money, like over 200 million, I think, at the point of, or no, it was over 100 million domestic opening, I think. It's sitting at 150 by the time I finally seen this. And by the end of this weekend, because I seen it on a Friday, it'll be Monday and it'll be over 200 million. That's way over budget. Way over their budget. Like, they've definitely made money already. But I think this movie could have been better. It leaned very heavily on nostalgia. I did like the practical effects. I loved the musical scores. I really did. It was classic Tim Burton. It was very creepy feeling. As soon as the opening credits were rolling and the music was playing, the classic Beetlejuice opening theme, like I was invested. It took a lot of stuff to take me out of that. I didn't like the subplot about like Lydia just ready to marry this clown. I was like, come on, do you really think that Adam and Barbara would want you marrying someone like that? Like, come on. And then like the subplot about obviously Astrid lost her father and they found him in the afterlife, and then like after he helps them for 5 minutes, it's just like, oh, I'm all better, I'm not sad anymore, even though your father is a desk clerk in the afterlife, clearly being punished. He didn't get to move on, he's not in heaven. So like that doesn't hunt her at all like it should. But that's really it. I say that's really it. It's a 13-minute video so far. So I do apologise. I'm going to bring it down. I was originally going to come on here and say it is 7 out of 10. I'm going to drop it to a 6. I know that probably seems harsh, but 6 out of 10 isn't bad. It's definitely above average. The original Beetlejuice for me personally is a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect Tim Burton movie. And honestly, I know people love Tim Burton. I don't think Tim Burton has that many like perfect movies. Like A Nightmare Before Christmas would be another one, be a perfect movie. Did he do Edward Scissorhands? I feel like he did. That would be perfect as well. If he didn't even do it, then oh well. But everything else he's ever done, I've been like, I like Wednesday. Wednesday's like an 8 out of 10 show. But in terms of movies, this was not classic Tim Burton, but it was never going to be. People were always going to nitpick, find holes. I don't mind the 19 minutes of screen time for Michael Keaton as long as there's something better happening. I didn't think there was. I don't think Jenna Ortega had earned her place in this franchise enough to be getting most of the screen time. Now that you've built her in a movie, maybe she does take a backseat to someone else next movie. Maybe she is the big main character again, but I think you need to actually just have Michael Keaton be the star that he's meant to be in the next movie. I think Beetlejuice has to be in there the whole movie. Maybe they think Beetlejuice is too like annoying of a character sometimes to give him a full film, but I think they have to at this point. But let me know what you guys thought as well down in the comments, please. Like, I know people have really enjoyed this movie, and that's fair enough. I understand why they did, but it's just a lot of people seeing it maybe even in their 20s, didn't grow up with the original Beetlejuice. They might have only seen it like 4, 5, 6 years ago. It was full on 90s nostalgia for me and a lot of people I know, and the second movie just was not the same. It's never gonna be. 6 out of 10, I think it's a fair ranking. I'll still rewatch it again, maybe every Halloween. But let me know what you guys thought. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff you guys like to do, and I shall see you on the next one.